evening, everybody. Hi, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Tonight, I would love to introduce to you two amazing experts. First of all, my name's Alita Spire, and I'm a mom and a grandma, and I absolutely love the tower. So tonight, we have two amazing experts in the field of urban gardening. First, we have Mr. Troy Albright. Troy is a pharmacist by degree and profession, having an authentic passion for seeing people both well and healthy. From the inside out, Troy founded True Garden, Arizona's first vertical aeroponic farm, which has become the top trending farm and garden center in the United States. Troy and his team empower thousands of people every year by giving them tools to grow all their fresh fruits and vegetables right in the comfort of their own home. Tim Blank is one of the world's leading hydroponic experts and co-founded our wonderful Tower Garden company in 2006. Tim has a degree in horticultural science and served as a top horticulturist for the Walt Disney World Company for 12 years, managing the hydroponic greenhouses at Disney's Epcot Center. Today, Tim serves as the Chief Technology Officer for the Tower Garden company and is going to share his top 6 master gardening tips for that perfect tower garden, no matter where you live. All right, guys, take it away.
Thank you so much, Alita. Hey, everybody. We are super excited to be here tonight. We are trying a little new version of the Zoom presentation, so hopefully it works well. But yeah, tonight, Troy and I talked about just thinking about all the different requests coming in from around the country and actually now around the globe. That's really how we came up with what we want to do tonight. It just our best top 6 tips to have that prize-winning tower garden. So I encourage you all tonight, if you're watching it from your iPhone or you're on your laptop and you have your camera, do a screenshot, take a picture, because all these tips tonight are written on slides so you can see them real well. So tip number 1, we want to talk about where to put your tower garden. You know, every day I get to talk to leaders around the country, and you know, they get a lot of new people. There's new people visiting us tonight. I think we have several thousand there on YouTube, and they want to know, the most important thing is, where do I put my garden? Well, whether you're doing a regular garden like you see there on your left, or the tower garden that we have on the right, we want that garden somewhere where it's going to get really good sunlight, not in the shade. And by the way, I love that picture, because what would you rather be doing? Bending, weeding, or tilling, or reading a book, listening to your tower garden grow, right? It's a lot of fun. So here's some of our gardens in Florida in good light. Also, when you pick your location, if you're in a very windy area, or you have animals that you're near forest and animals can come roaming into the yard, a fence is really good to help with both of those things. But again, making sure you're still getting sunlight. Those are little aphids and bugs on the back of a plant. So I'm sharing that because it's really important. As you notice, every one of these pictures, we don't locate our towers on a weed patch. Weeds out in your yard are home to various vegetable pests. So we're always going to put our tower gardens on some pavers, a concrete pad, or some other clean area. If I'm growing indoors with Tower Garden Home or Tower Garden Flex with grow lights, I want to be sure that I place that tower garden near a kitchen where I see it. If I see it, I'm going to use it. So location is super important, even indoors. I know some people might grow their tower garden in the basement. Sometimes that's the only place you have room for, but if you see it, you're going to be using it frequently. So tip number 2, water. We want to talk about water quality. I was just on a Zoom call today with some really good friends in another country who are dealing with water issues, water quality. So some parts of the US, we have very clean, crystal clean water, and that works excellent in a tower garden. But take the Western United States right now, where we're going through a mega severe drought. And the drier it gets, the more mineralized the water gets. So one of the things that we have found that whether, now this isn't just tower gardening, this is any form of urban container gardening or hydroponic gardening, these minerals can build up and cause a lot of issues. Also, a lot of municipalities today, they are adding chloramine and other chemicals to the water. Now, chlorine will degas very quickly or off gas. Chloramine will not. And so we are seeing people in locations who never had a problem growing before, and all of a sudden they're having a problem. And that's a city adding more chloramine in some cases to the municipal water. So if you go to True Garden on their website, under their products there, they have this awesome filter specifically for gardening. Now, also, if you live somewhere and you don't want to pay for shipping, many times if you go to your RV centers, they will have these really good RV filters that clean up the water as well. So having good water quality, if you don't, it's really helpful to get one of these filters. And it seems I'm hearing it more and more, and it's coming from areas that are going through drought, and their water is becoming more and more of an issue these days. Part of water is our pH. So what's really nice about the Tower Garden mineral blend, it's different from most other hydroponic nutrients. It was the world's first one size fits all. It's very balanced. We can handle a pH range of 4 to 8. So people are often surprised when I tell them I don't ever test for pH. Most of the good tower gardeners I know don't, because we've already balanced the pH solution for you. In fact, again, we can handle a range of 4 to 8. And sometimes we have tower gardeners out there that are just constantly adding pH up and down, and it actually can mess up the mineral solution. So if you do too much, so it's good to pay attention to it, but don't be overly stressed out about pH. The plants will speak, and if they're turning yellow, soft yellow on the new growth, sometimes that's a good indicator you haven't added tonic for a long time, or a Tower Garden mineral blend, excuse me, or your pH is really high above 8. So tip number 3, I'm going to let Troy take this one. And Troy is going to talk about feeding your plants correctly. So we start off with good water quality, right? We're doing our top 6 tips. So Troy's going to talk to you about how we add our mineral solution to that water correctly, because this is really important. This is like powering our bodies with quality fruits and vegetables. We want to power this tower garden with quality minerals. So Troy, you're up.
Well, that sounds great, Tim. Again, if we set ourselves up with good quality water, like you're saying, we'll have even greater success. So when we talk about using the tonic A and B, I get questions all the time. There's a lot of confusion. So let's keep it simple. If it's winter time or you're growing indoors, you're going to use full strength nutrients. When I say full strength, you're going to do 20 mils of A and 20 mils of B per gallon of water you add. So it doesn't matter if you're growing indoors in Minnesota or in Arizona. If you're growing indoors, you're going to use full strength. So now as we go into spring and fall, we'll actually cut back to a 15 mils, which is a tablespoon. So again, we've done this. We realize that as we go into hotter seasons or cooler seasons, we got to change it. And that's what's great about the tonic solution. We can change it as our seasons change, depending on where we are in the United States or other parts of the world. So spring and fall, we're only going to use a tablespoon of each of tonic A and B. And now here, as we go into summer, we're going to go to half strength, and that's the 1 to 400 summer outdoors, and that's 10 mils of A and B per gallon. So it's important that we keep cutting back as the temperatures goes up. And then as we hit our 110 and 20 degrees here in the hot desert summer, we're actually going to quarter strength, which is 5 mils per gallon. Remember, if it's hot out, then we don't need to eat as often, and our plants are the same way. We just need to drink a lot more fluids. Our plants are doing the same thing. So again, less is more. I see so many people overfeeding their plants, and that can be highly detrimental to their growth as well. So more is not better. So pay attention to how much you're adding, and less is more. So that's a little brief synopsis there, Tim.
Thank you, Troy. And I would love to add to that and say that, as you just said, more in this case is not better. In fact, when people say, I think in our own health, if we're getting a cold, we double up on Juice Plus or vitamin C or whatever it is, chicken noodle soup, whatever it is. And in this case, we do not double up on Tower Gardner. It'll actually cause the plants to wilt in the heat. And really, the way that the plants protect themselves from burning as they transpire, they take up water. So that's why we cut back on the minerals, because they're actually taking up the more they sweat, the more they transpire, the more minerals they're taking up. And so that's just a simple rule of thumb. Conventional hydroponics, suggests you use conductivity meters and all these complicated things. And we're all about taking the complex confusion out of hydroponics and keeping it simple. So what we're sharing with you with this program that Troy just shared with you, it's really how to keep it fun and simple. We don't need those measuring devices. If you want to use them, you can, but in this particular case, we've already, have proven the science and what works during what season. So tip number 4. So we've got good water, we've got a location, we've got good water, we've got good nutrients. So how do we choose our crop and how do we plant them correctly? Let's talk about that. Well, we have Tower Garden Home for indoor growing and Tower Garden Flex for outdoor growing. So with the Tower Garden Flex outdoors, again, we're in a good sunny location. You can see in this particular case, we have, for example, cornucopia tower where on your left there, where we've got the small plants on the top, the medium plants in the middle, and the big plants on the bottom. I've seen so many times where someone has planted a giant tomato or a squash up top. And when they do that, that's not the way we want to do it. I love grouping my crops. If I have more than one tower, there's some peppers. I love strawberry towers. If I'm growing indoors with Tower Garden Home, I'm going to, I can't grow gigantic bush crops. My lights are going to limit how much I can grow indoors. So indoors, our master Tower Gardeners do grow all types of fruiting crops and different things. But for our beginning or medium Tower Gardner, we stick with the leafy greens, the lettuces and the herbs, and we keep them at a nice size, about, something like really the size of a softball, and we harvest them regularly, which leads me to tip number 5, harvesting. Now, and I want to be very clear, by the way, if I go back what I was talking about with when I'm choosing my crop, and I didn't mention this, some people have one Tower Garden, okay? So if you look at that Tower Garden on your left and you want to grow 5 crops, 6 crops, you're going to grow them all in one tower. So we do that kind of in the pyramid planting system where little plants on the top, big plants on the bottom. But if you have more than one tower, I love to group it. I love, I have several towers. I like my strawberry tower, my hot pepper towers, and things like that. Those of you growing indoors, we have people that do, our Tower Gardens there in our kitchen that Jessica and I have. We've got the salad tower on the right and the juicing tower on the left, because I kind of harvest and treat those differently. The salads I only grow for 3 months and I transplant new ones. The juicing crops I can grow for, goodness, 6 to 9 months before I actually have to replace them. I've grown them up to a year indoors. So, dozens and dozens of cuts off those towers. So I really like grouping in a way that is how I'm gonna use them. So that leads me to tip number 5, harvesting. Probably one of the most important tips out there. I'm gonna embarrass Alita here for a moment. This picture was taken many, many years ago, I think 11 years ago now, Alita, right? And so that's one of Alita's towers from her backyard, and she's like, turned that brown thumb into a green thumb overnight when she got the Tower Garden. And everything she grew there in the Phoenix during the cool season in Phoenix, just grew crazy. But I wouldn't always try to grow my tower that big. I like a little bit smaller tower. By the way, that's a Tower Garden home out in my patio. And yes, the Tower Garden home can be grown in your patio. You just don't have the grow lights. It's made with the same plastic as the Tower Garden Flex, and it's perfect for people who like a little bit more of a modern look, or they just need a smaller tower garden if they have a small balcony. I love the way it looks. So I grow it on my patio outdoors. I really never let my tower garden plants get much larger than what you see right there. And as a rule of thumb, to keep the pests away, I love to see a little bit of white plastic. That tells me I'm harvesting frequently. I want the breeze to be able to blow through that tower. I want the sun to get in and shine on all those leaves. When the tower garden gets large, big, and overgrown, that gives an opportunity for the bugs to get in there. I have so many people that are used to gardening and said, oh my gosh, I'm just waiting. I love the flowers on that plant, or I just love something about this other plant and I don't really use it, but I love looking at it. And I said, man, cut it back, put it in one of those bags from the grocery store and hang it on your neighbor's door and tell them happy birthday and they'll become your best friend. But you want to keep that tower pruned. I promise you, if your tower looks like that tower there, you're going to have very little problem with pests or bugs if it's got good sunlight and it's maintained to a good size. Now, how do we do that? Very, very simple. Most of the crops we grow emerge from the center. We call that the meristematic growing tip. And all we do is when we go to cut on our tower, we can either by hand pinch those old leaves off. We never touch that new growth coming out of the center. Now you're going to see this with parsley and chard and lettuce and all those crops. They're going to have little new leaves come out of the center. So whenever we cut back, we cut just above the center with a scissors or a knife, or we pinch off the leaves, and that gives us beautiful towers regularly like you see right there. So my best tip for harvesting, and again, like I said, I love clustering my crops. So if you're one of those people that have 4 or 5 towers or even 2, 3, I love growing my tomatoes on one. You know, things like tomatoes and cucumbers constantly drop all those little flower petals and I don't want them all over my lettuce. So that's a great way to do it. You can grow some beautiful crops that way. I know almost everybody I know that have more than one tower, they have a salad tower because people love having a fresh salad every night for dinner. It tastes so darn good. You know, I'm always asked for our partners out there who say, you know, gosh, how the heck do you know, sell towers? I just want to get this message out about whole food nutrition and healthy living and food sovereignty. And man, the best thing you can do is make a beautiful salad like you see right there. And that's what's going to inspire people. Make them a salad from your tower garden. You know, one of the things, when I think about the nutrition that's packed into our Tower Garden mineral blend, the number one thing I've heard since we started the Tower Garden back in 2006 is, I did not know lettuce had a smell. And that's the nutrition getting into the plant. So really, really love that. So our last and final tip of the night, number 6, Troy is going to talk about growing with a purpose. Troy, you're up.
Oh, great, Tim. You know, as I've been working with lots of my patients, you know, live a healthier life through growing their own food, I realized that many of them really never ate a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. And ironically, I was one of those, Tim. You know, I'm from Minnesota, and what do we eat there? Meat and potatoes, and our vegetable was corn. So I was one of these people. I was one of my own patients where I didn't eat enough fresh fruits and vegetables. And we did a lot of gardening, so that was easy. But a lot of these people, you know, they've never grown their own food either, so in their life. And but when the Tower Garden came along, that really made it super easy, very fun and simple. And I realized they needed some direction. So as I directed them in their own health and wellness, growing food was another thing. And that's when we realized that we need to, you know, as a beginner Tower Gardener, that there's 3 types of ways, you know, to grow with a purpose. And, you know, we talked about just a simple salad tower, you know, getting more of that fiber, more of that phytonutrients, you know, assist them in losing weight, really just adding salad, adding those things to their diet, getting those different colors in their diet. And then we talked about creating a juicing tower, a smoothie tower, you know, growing things to help you detox, all your kales, your Swiss chard, parsley, You've got celery too. There's so many things we can do and create a juicing tower and help us with just getting all those vital nutrients and macro and micronutrients that you're talking about that are in that grow solution. Your grow solution is incredible. I mean, if we really feed our plants appropriately, then we ensure that the produce we're growing is even more potent. Then the final tower is for those of us that love to cook and have those fresh herbs right off the tower. I mean, when you can cook with fresh herbs, you're going to get all that flavor, all that bang that you've been getting off that tower. And then you're not buying any of that stuff from the store that's those little brown twigs, or, you know, it doesn't even look like a stick of thyme. But when you grow your own herbs, you're going to notice that your cooking skills go up and people are going to think you're a great cook just because you're cooking with fresh herbs and things. So I get really excited. Growing towers with a purpose. You have a simple salad tower, a juicing tower, an herb tower. And I tell people, grow things you love to eat. If you grow the things you love to eat, you'll never grow wrong. So that's what's exciting about as a healthcare practitioner, is training people to take control of their own health, Tim.
Hey,
I love
Troy,
it. I
Troy,
love that.
are you on, your camera is off. Are you in the Learning Center or are you in the garden?
I'm in the Learning Center here.
Were you talking about particular gardens? Were you pointing them out?
No, because I'm not sure why I'm not spotlighted, but that's okay. That's not
All
a
right.
problem.
You are spotlighted. You're just, your camera's not active.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. But again, this is just great for all of us to learn how to grow and grow with a purpose, Alita.
Well,
Yeah.
Troy, I love those suggestions. And you know what's interesting about those themed towers is I remember in the early days when you started True Garden and people would come in, and I mean, if you go to the True Garden website under the seedling section, these guys have like a couple hundred different crops, and people would come in and they'd go, oh my gosh, I love tomatoes, I love squash, I love cucumber. But at the end of the day, they've got all these crops and it's a jungle and they're trying to manage it. And I know that you've shared in the past when, you know, when people can grow with a purpose, they get on a mission and they start to know if they have a salad tower, they're losing weights, if they're juicing or doing smoothies or not spending $200 a week at Whole Foods. This is a really big deal. Food prices have gone up. They've not gone up with the Tower Garden. Growing food in your Tower Garden is like printing money. It just keeps on growing and growing and growing. And the other thing I love about those crops you just mentioned, Troy, and we talked about this, the USDA says that for all fresh cut leafy greens, lettuces, and herbs, from field to table, that whole process, plants can use up to 50% of their nutrition. So not only are soils today depleted, but oh my goodness, I mean, when you get them 2 weeks old, they've lost a lot of their potency. So food sovereignty, food nutrition, chemical-free food, I mean, think about what we're talking about when you grow at home. We're in control of our food supply. And Troy, do you have some living towers in there that we can just, you can see what's going on there at your True Garden facility?
I do, but for some reason, my camera is not turning on, so I'm not sure.
Alita, are you seeing Troy?
Oh, okay.
Now.
Yeah, we're seeing
okay.
you.
Well, okay. I'll stop making faces.
There's people from all over the world on the call in North America, and I know your locals that are on the call get to come into True Garden, but all those streaming into YouTube, I know, are from all over. So if you ever have a chance to take a trip and go to one of those True Garden classes and their little store there, it's amazing. They sell a lot of ancillary things for the Tower Garden. We don't sell at towergarden.com, along with 200 living seedlings. And True Garden does a great community service to the public. So appreciate all that you do there, Troy.
Sounds good. I'm trying to show my towers off. I don't know if you can see it, or can you see those there, Tim?
Yeah, you have it facing you. You might want to tap the garden again and just have it go.
Okay, is that working?
There you go. Oh my, beautiful, beautiful.
So this is our salad tower, and there we go, salad tower. And we snuck a little strawberry in there. We wanted to have some extra strawberries. My wife loves having strawberries on the tower.
Salads are good.
Oh yes. And then we got some kales. So and then on the upper section here on this home tower, that's where we've got the baby green section. And that's where we're growing some of the herbs. You know, we love fresh rosemary, this red vein sorrel here, you know, a little bit of cilantro, fresh chives. So we're trying to really add things on the salad tower that we really like to have, you know, a little extra parsley here. Just again, we have fun with this. This tower is ready to be harvested, and we get excited about it. We just replanted another tower over here, and again, plenty of herbs on it. Beautiful thyme. You know, got some rosemary. You can grow celery. You can see where we've been cutting off the celery here.
Yep.
Again, just like you say, it's the giving tower. It just keeps growing and giving and giving.
You know, for those of you that haven't been to, I see several people commenting who've been to True Garden and loved being there yesterday and beyond. And, you know, they've got 300 and some towers in that greenhouse out there where they grow them 10 feet tall vertically, and they're feeding their local community, their local farmers market on just a 4,000 square foot footprint. They're literally providing, you know, the Central Phoenix area with some beautiful towers. So Troy, thank you for all that. And we had 6 tips tonight, but I'll leave you if you want to do a little screenshot of this one here. This is just some Tower Garden resources and links. You can take a picture or a screenshot, but for those of you that are just beginning, if you're growing, you already know this, but if you're just beginning, that top link there, Tower Garden 101, we just talked about all the simple tips for, in more detail, a lot of things I talked about and more, so you can learn about how to do it outdoors, how to do it indoors. I mean, it's all about, tower gardening for us is growing vertical in just a tiny footprint, and a 30-inch footprint with Tower Garden Flex and a 24-inch footprint with Tower Garden Home. We're growing up to, you know, 36 plants and beyond on these beautiful vertical plant condominiums. There's no dirt and soil, and it's highly nutritious, and no bending, weeding, tilling, and we're not using harmful pesticides or chemicals. So you can learn about that in the Tower Garden 101. There's a link to our Tower Garden blog. And for those of you that want to learn about organic pest control and don't, you know, if you ever do need something like that, there's a link to that blog there. So one of the things that I want to leave you with tonight is our next Tim and Troy show. I know Troy and Alita are going to come up with some dates and put that out. We probably have the most exciting Tim and Troy show coming up we have ever done. So listen up. This is for everybody. We have a crisis brewing in the world. I know those of you who pay attention are seeing what's happening to the market, exploding oil prices, lack of fertilizer, lack of grain coming from Ukraine and Russia. And this has really upset what's going on with the global food. We're an interdependent world. There's a lot of people in the world today compared to when I was born, you know, 50 years ago. And we've got to feed all those people. And it takes the whole world to do that. And different things come from different parts of the world. And so fertilizers are affecting fresh food. We have a mega drought in the Western United States where California farmers, some of them are ordered not to plant again this year. That means we're importing food from other countries. We don't know where it comes from. All this leaves a big carbon footprint. And there's people that are very aware of what's going on and they want to get food sovereign. I can't tell you, I've always been about food sovereignty for health, but I can tell you we are in a time where people are saying, I don't want to go back to what happened in the pandemic when grocery stores were empty. I see those days coming, and I'm getting calls regularly now. I know Troy, as a leader, people are saying, what do I need to grow all of my own fruits and vegetables at home? That's what we're going to talk about next time. We're going to talk about how many towers that it would actually take to do something like that, what type of space you would need. So this kind of goes beyond just 1 or 2 towers. That's what we are going to talk about next time, how you can have a miniature version of this beautiful True Garden farm where Troy Albright is at right now in Phoenix, Arizona. So thank you all, and very much look forward to seeing you next time. And Troy, do you have any final words about our upcoming event or what you'd like to leave people with?
You know, as we pursue growing our own food, let's not grow out of fear of not having, because with the tower, we will always be able to grow food. And even as I go down this pathway, you know, for the people in Arizona, you know, I've secured enough seeds for the next couple of years, enough nutrients for the next couple of years as well, cocoa coir and other growing supplies. I just want to encourage people to stay calm, grow their own food. They're going to be healthier, get their gut into shape by eating this good, clean, healthy food without any chemicals on it. I mean, the chemicals that we're being exposed to are really affecting our gut. And again, we've heard lots of other practitioners talk about gut health and our gut being a second brain. Get our gut healthy, and you'll see the body respond. So let's go into the future, be excited about it. We're all going to be here to support each other, and the future is very bright. Thanks so much, Tim.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, I just wanted to thank Tim and Troy so much for this presentation, and I want everybody to have a blessed night and get back to the person who invited you to this call and see how you can get another tower or two. Have a great night, everyone, and all the links have been posted on the comment section here, and they will be posted underneath a YouTube recording and also on the Arizona page. So have a blessed night. Thank you, Tim and Troy.
Thank you, Alita. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.